The dip in mercury in recent days has crippled lives in several parts of the country, with many daily works being halted in the Tarai region, among others. However, experts have said winter this year won't be as cold as previous years, as the winter rain has yet to arrive due to the low impacts of the westerly winds. Good evening, I'm Chitrakar, and these are the headlines of the hour. 3 more Nepalese youths fighting for Russia confirmed dead by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The number of Nepalese in the Russian army yet to be ascertained. Prime Minister Dahal assures the education bill would be approved by incorporating interest of all stakeholders as he inaugurates and addresses the Kantipur Education Summit 2018. 5 people aboard a Japanese Coast Guard plane dead after their aircraft collided with a passenger plane at a Tokyo airport. 379 people on board the airplane safely evacuated. And the national Under-19 cricket team takes part in final preparations for the Under-19 Cricket World Cup, slated to kick off from 19th of January in South Africa. 3 more Nepalese youths fighting for Russia have lost their lives. Spokesperson for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Amrit Rai, has confirmed of the deaths of the 3 Nepali nationals. The ministry has said efforts are underway to ascertain the number of Nepalese in the Russian army through the Nepalese embassy in Russia and the Russian government. However, a response is still awaited. The South Korean embassy in Nepal has expressed its concerns regarding the problems and controversies related to language tests for employment in South Korea under its employment permit system, EPS. The South Korean ambassador to Nepal, Park Tae-yong, met with the Secretary of the Ministry for Labour, Employment and Social Security and expressed concerns regarding the issue. The ambassador addressed the government officials and said that the employers in Korea were alarmed following the unfortunate protest programs in Nepal. He drew the government's attention, saying that the South Korean employers could hesitate taking in Nepali workers if the tensions continued in the country. In response, the ministry has assured that the latest controversy regarding the language test will be addressed and that it would not recur in the future. Secretary for the Ministry of Labour, Kebal Prasad Bhandari, said that the examinees for shipbuilding had been included in the language test for skilled labour based on the court's order. Bhandari has urged the Korean side to accept the court's order. Meanwhile, the South Korean authorities have said that it was not possible and that further discussions would be held in the next phase. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal has expressed commitment to endorsing the education bill by addressing the concerns of all stakeholders. Inaugurating the Kantipur Education Summit 2080, organized by Kantipur Media Group in the capital, Premier Dahal said that the government had been working towards the transformation of the overall education sector. He pledged to implement meritocracy during recruitment process for vice-chancellors at universities. The Premier expressed concern, saying that youths had assumed that they cannot access quality education at universities in the country and that they would be incompetent in the global market. Prime Minister Dahal admitted that youths have been disheartened due to decrease in production and rising unemployment. He said that growing desire for accumulation of property among those who have access to opportunities and socially reputable individuals had become a challenge. Speaking during the program, Chairperson of Kantipur Media Group, Kailash Siroya, said that introduction of law was not sufficient for the improvement of education sector in the country and that radical changes in higher education was required. He said that the general public were worried that the laws introduced by the government would be inadequate amid lack of consensus among the parties regarding the education bill. Siroya added that the issue of conversion of all existing private schools into trusts must be addressed by holding discussions with all the concerned entities. Siroya also expressed a desire for discussions to be held centered on ways to provide education that ensures knowledge, skills and employment. The slogan of this year's Education Summit is moderation in curriculum, improvement in law, opportunity of quality education in the country. Debates were held on conversion of private schools into trust during the first session. The second session focused on how can everyone avail quality higher education in Nepal. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal has admitted that although works of the Ministry for Women, Children and Senior Citizens were sensitive, the government had prioritized other issues. During a discussion held in Singadarbar with the departmental ministers, secretaries and officials, Prime Minister Dahal said that the ministry will be restructured to prioritize its issues in the coming days. He said that the state structures must change according to political changes and had directed the concerned authorities to prioritize factories and businesses run by women. Prime Minister Dahal stressed on the importance of conducting social campaigns to minimize gender violence, sexual abuse and human trafficking, among other social ill. He also gave directives to ensure effectiveness of the government program to rescue pregnant women from remote areas of the country. Youth above 18 years of age held at the Juvenile Correction Facility in Naubasta of Bake have begun returning to the center after 4 days. Police has said that of the 17 who had escaped, 3 have returned on their own, while search for the missing others is underway. The situation, which previously had grown intense after the youth held at the Juvenile Correction Facility had resorted to vandalism and protest, is now becoming normal. A dialogue has been held between the youth and the Home Administration. It has been understood that the youth had demanded pure drinking water, medical treatment, entertainment, education and transport facilities. District Administration Office Bake has said that the demands are to be addressed. However, security has been intensified near the correctional facility as vandalism and clashes may erupt any time again. The local residents were living in fear after the youth who had escaped the correctional facility had entered the settlement area. Meanwhile, several youth held at the correctional facility have demanded their relocation to other places. Dispute between the Nepal Electricity Authority (NEA) and the industries regarding the due payment is likely to be resolved. The NEA has made arrangement for payment of the due fees for dedicated and trunk lines in a maximum of 60 installments. Yesterday evening's meeting, chaired by Minister for Energy, Water Resources and Irrigation, put forward the arrangement for payment in installments. Executive Director of the NEA, Kulman Khising, has informed that the special arrangement was made by the board. Entities receiving electricity during the period of power cuts were earlier reminded for the payment. After the protest of the businesses and industries, their electricity lines were cut from December 22nd. A total of 61 entities are yet to pay 22,240 million rupees for using dedicated and trunk lines. Electricity lines of 23 industries yet to pay more than 50 million rupees was cut. Meanwhile, electricity line has been reconnected for Himal Iron and Steels located at Parwanipur under the Bara Parsa Industrial Corridor after the entity began making the payment. According to the NEA, the total of 81.2 million rupees in due payment. Himal Iron has paid 2,710,000 rupees in first installment. Time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Here's the question: why are problems resurfacing at the juvenile correction facilities? Your options are A, lack of legal clarity, B, absence of coordination, and C, managerial flaws. Voting is on. Tap any WS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Saptari, Siraha and Thanusha, among other districts in the Tarai region, have reported of a dip in mercury. The lives in the Tarai region have been affected in recent days due to the westerly winds and thick smog. The cold waves that occur during dawn and dusk have mainly affected school-going students and elderly citizens. Daily works have remained halted in many districts of the region, which has made it difficult for those who rely on daily wages to make their ends meet. Meanwhile, local authorities have yet to make efforts to prevent public from reeling under the winter cold. CPN Maoist Centre has claimed that the party's 4-month-long transformation campaign has added energy among the general public. Organizing a press conference today following the conclusion of the campaign, the leaders of CPN Maoist Centre called the program a success. They said that the party has been successful in reviving the general public. The party had held discussions in all local levels from 2nd of September last year till yesterday. During the press meet, spokesperson of CPN Maoist Centre, Agni Sapkota, claimed that the party through its campaign had given hope to public. He said that the Prime Minister wanted to shuffle the cabinet to make the government works more effective. In a different context, Sapkota said that initial discussion has been held to finalize nominations for the upcoming National Assembly election by prioritizing those with disabilities and marginalized group after reaching a consensus among the ruling alliance partners regarding power share. Time now for international update. 5 people aboard a Japanese Coast Guard plane have died after their aircraft collided with a passenger plane at a Tokyo airport. The Coast Guard plane was due to deliver aid to earthquake-hit areas. A Japan Airlines plane was engulfed in flames after landing on a runway at Tokyo's Haneda Airport today. Live footage showed passengers fleeing the aircraft using inflatable slides and running away across the tarmac. Japan Airlines has said all 379 people on board, including crew members, were evacuated. The fire, however, ripped through the Japan Airlines flight 516, which is now nearly completely destroyed as firefighters battled the blaze. The plane had taken off from Hokkaido in northern Japan. The Coast Guard aircraft was taking food to areas hit by Monday's powerful earthquake. Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida spoke to the media, confirming that 5 of the 6 crews on the Coast Guard plane had died. Kishida extended his condolences to those dead while trying to serve people in need in the Noto area of Ishikawa Prefecture. Japan's Chief Cabinet Secretary Yoshimasa Hayashi has said that there are 120 cases of people waiting to be rescued in areas where a powerful earthquake hit central Japan on New Year's Day and killed at least 30 people. Hayashi told a news conference 955 evacuation centers have been set up in Ishikawa and Niigata prefectures, where a total of 57,360 people have evacuated. The quake, with a preliminary magnitude of 7.6, struck on Monday afternoon, prompting residents in some coastal areas to flee to higher ground as tsunami waves hit Japan's west coast, sweeping some cars and houses into the sea. A 3,000-strong rescue crew of army personnel, firefighters and police officers from across the country have been dispatched to the quake sites on the Noto Peninsula in Ishikawa Prefecture. Heavy Russian missile and drone strikes on Kyiv and the northeastern city of Kharkiv killed 2 civilians, wounded dozens and caused widespread damage today. Russia attacked with waves of different missiles during the morning rush hour, striking residential buildings and civilian infrastructure. Military authorities issued air alerts that lasted for at least 3 hours. The attack came hours after Russian President Vladimir Putin said an airstrike on the Russian city of Belgorod will not go unpunished. Moscow said the airstrike killed 24 civilians and blamed it on Ukraine. Kyiv Mayor Vitaly Klitschko said an elderly woman had died in an ambulance after being wounded. He had earlier said that at least 16 people had been wounded in the capital. Russia has stepped up airstrikes on Ukraine over the New Year period and on Friday conducted its largest air attack of the almost 2-year-old war on Ukraine, killing at least 39 people. Heavy rains triggered flash flooding across parts of Australia's east today as an intense weather system flooded roads, cut off towns and damaged properties, with authorities urging residents in low-lying areas to consider moving to higher ground. The northeastern New South Wales and southeastern Queensland regions were pounded by a wild weather system overnight, with several towns taking roughly a month's rainfall over 24 hours to Monday morning. More heavy rain was forecast this morning, with totals set to exceed 250 millimeters, more than the January average. Climate change has amplified Australia's weather extremes in recent years, experts say. The El Nino weather phenomenon, which can provoke wildfires, cyclones and prolonged drought, is also affecting the country during its December-February summer. And before wrapping up, here's a look at the top stories once again. 3 more Nepalese youths fighting for Russia confirmed dead by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The number of Nepalese in the Russian army yet to be ascertained. Premier Dahal assures the education bill would be approved by incorporating interest of stakeholders as he inaugurates the Kantipur Education Summit 2018. 5 people aboard a Japanese Coast Guard plane dead after their aircraft collided with a passenger plane at a Tokyo airport. 379 passengers safely evacuated. And the national under-19 cricket team takes part in final preparations for the Under-19 Cricket World Cup, slated to kick off from 19th of January in South Africa. That's all for the moment. Our next English bulletin will be at 10:30 tonight. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.